Good afternoon, my peeps. We're in Tennessee. It's your favorite Kirkland brand clearance Clark Kent. So, with that, I kind of want to segue from the previous conversation I was having with you yesterday about the Melbourne story of when it became popular in 6 months. So, the whole idea was I was moving back to Florida off of failed attempts to open a business in the Kava scene. And I actually have to be specific with the details because I mentioned the Kava bars earlier, how it's a very eclectic group of people or kind of people that go there. It's like the outsiders gathering place and like holistic rich yogis and like the street spray painting like artist kid. It's really cool. So, but the reason I have to be specific with it is because there's also a reputation in the Kava scene where to be a Kava bar owner, you just have to be mentally ill. And my good friend Hector is the one that coined that phrase and that methodology, I guess. And with that being said, there was a point in time where I was bouncing around, couch surfing, getting support from my friends, and helping Kava bars open and working at different ones. And I ended up working at one in a more northern part than where my reputation was known in the Kava scene, but I had enough pull to kind of bring people around. The funny thing about South Florida is everything's really far but actually close at the same time, just because of like the highways and stuff and just how word travels. So even though I was realistically 40 minutes to an hour away from where I normally work, my name was still kind of populating around in the area and people were getting to know me. So because of my situation, I was living out of my job. I was extents. I'd be there Monday through Thursday. My friend would, Hector, actually, my boy, would go up there on Thursday, wait till the end of my shift. He would work at a Kava bar we would hang out at. He would do massages there. And then when he was done for the evening, we'd head back down. He'd drop me off at my best friend's house, Ty, and I'd stay with Ty for the weekend and rinse and repeat. Now, some things in the routine changed a little bit, but over time, after getting some rep and earning merit, which I've learned that merit is the true form of popularity. It's not how many people know your name, it's the merit, right? You earn merit by being yourself, being authentic, and being good to others, treating them how you want to be treated. That is one of the basic ways to gain a good amount of merit and quality merit. So, throughout that time, let's call this guy Jimmy. Jimmy was promising, because he was working out of this bar, or he owned this bar, that, hey man, with your experience and your people skills, if we work on a project together, it would go bananas. I'm like, dude, yes, totally. And the thing is, him and I really connected with being followers of Christ and, being unplugged from like the negative frequencies of society and politics. Like we shared a lot of things, and he put me on to like a lot of game. And I actually kind of started to look up to him because he went through some of the same experiences in the Kava community that I did. I worked at a couple of ones that were opening, and I was either their only bartender or one of the main like headliner guys, and I got a lot of people in. And it's just like my name had a lot of weight in that scene, and a lot of places that I associated with ended up making good money or being like hot spots. So he created this like a super cool environment where the place looked like a campground, and the way he was portraying it as if like he just grabbed things from his past and he found a way to bring them back and design the space and make it really comfortable and have little Easter eggs and all this other stuff. So, the idea is if you get a guy who knows how to gain merit anywhere he goes and is very expressive, and then you grab like this logistic boss who knows how to design spaces and you mash them together, it's like, dude, that's a space waiting to just create an amazing third place and for them to have like careers in serving people. So after a while, my parents were like, hey, look, you've been at this for almost a year. There have been like 3 attempts. They haven't worked out. Just come move to Tennessee. So I moved to Tennessee. Time passes. I'm still like hung up on this idea of like opening up a Kava bar, and I really want to own a business, and I want to create a scene because when I have people that I can be of service to and I'm in community, I'm really thriving, and I just feel good being with people for people, because like I pour out to them, they pour out into me, we overflow together, we're having a good time, I learn from them, they learn from me, teaching and learning through teaching. It's a lot of good experience when you have a good community where people feel safe and we're all coming together. And like I really yearn to have something like that of my own, because I feel like that's just where my life is going. You know, I was searching for a place to fit in, and when I was young, especially in middle school, and then in middle school, I ended up creating that by accident after being known as the kid who like fights bullies. And I have all like these, and then I joined band, so like now all the band kids are on my side, and we'd hang out at the back of school in the morning, and now all the kids that feel like outsiders had a place to go. And then in high school, I did something similar because I just jumped around in so many different extracurriculars. So, you know, going into adult life where it's not that obvious on where you can go to kind of learn things to fit in, the social aspect is very difficult. So when I found Kava bars, I was like immediately intrigued and I fell in love with it, because I'm like, dude, these are my people. This is where I want to be. There's so many different kinds of people to learn from and hang out with, and, you know, pull from their lives and their experiences and learn and then give to them. It's just like osmosis times 9. So I'm like, I want that for myself. So going into working with Jimmy on this stuff, well, the failed attempts, moving to Tennessee, after some time, though all those feelings that I just spewed out were still in me, and I go snowboarding with my parents, terrible conditions. I even had the gut feeling of, like, I should probably stop. These conditions are really bad. I don't really feel like I got good control, and I'm learning how to snowboard, and like, this isn't really snow. A lot of this is like fake snow, and it's like icing up and chunking. Lo and behold, I break my collarbone, and I broke it. I think I said it earlier, I broke it really bad. And while I'm out of work, Jimmy reaches out to me, and there was actually this storefront that was specifically a Kava bar that was closing down due to mismanagement, because the story goes, it was 2 Nepo babies in their early 20s that just wanted to join the scene and be like everybody else. Because lo and behold, to me, there were like 30, not even 30, I'm exaggerating, there's more like 20 to 25 Kava bars in the town. And they fail, they go under. He finds it, he shows it to me, and I was like, let me do some talking, bro, give me a second. I connect with 2 of my friends who really share the same idea, because they've seen me throughout the years, like growing up also with the Kava community and like picking up different bars, practically like being the sole like managing partner of one, managing another one, and just they're like, dude, wherever this fucking guy goes, the Kava bar like just pops off. So they were very supportive on being behind, like, yo, whenever the 3 of us we feel like we're financially ready and we have time, we're gonna go in on this business together. So in my mind, I was like, dude, this is the opportunity. Now we don't have to find a storefront with a location that we like and then have to do months of building out and communicating to the city. Like, this place is literally turnkey. All we got to do is clean it, get the product, design it how we want, and send it. You know, obviously easier said than done, but a lot of the headache of having to communicate with the city about building things out doesn't exist there, because we have all the things that we would need, or even things that we don't need, but it's, you know, better to have than not need, or need and not have. So I'm like, bro, we got to make this happen. Jimmy asks for a specific amount of funds to make this space work. My friends go above that and give more. And then he tells me, hey man, be here in this amount of time. It'll make your position for working the business a lot stronger. And I was like, bet. That's like, that lines up exactly to where the doctor says I should be clear for my collarbone. And I'm not going to lie, there were times here and there where I went to the gym and like I limit tested it. I'm not going to lie. And I was fine. But ultimately, I go down there. I'm not really working out that much. I'm going to tie in fitness into this for a second. Or in a second. I go down there. It's kind of a mess. I was, granted, like the same how I was living out of the other bar initially before I moved to Tennessee. I was doing like my 4-day stints. I was now fully living out of this bar. And the thing is, I kind of learned to live out of a space because of the Marine Corps and because of my previous experience. And luckily there was a CVS nearby and a Crunch. So I would go to the CVS and I'd get some dude wipes and I would literally just wipe shower every day. And I would skate around or Uber around to wherever I needed to go and like start networking, like just getting to know people, start making friends, get to know the area. And, unbeknownst to me, it got to the point where the guy who said he knew how to open bars and like to buy things and do certain stuff, he was all talk. This guy gets 30K and it disappears. I end up having to pick up all the slack with the friends of my investor friends. They actually physically showed up and helped clean, set things up, and doll up the place, which was awesome. And throughout that process, once I was fully healed, which I was really waiting for was to get back to lifting. And the reason I was so antsy about that is I had a lot of nerves built up. I had a program that I was following because I was just getting into powerlifting. And you have to be very strategic when it comes to powerlifting. You can't just lift heavy all the time. Like you're gonna blow something, or you're just gonna blow something. You're gonna blow a gasket, bro. You're overexerting. So I realized that now I had to do a new program because parts of me have atrophied. Like the left side of me was a little stronger than my right side, and how that works to the kinetic chain of my rest of my body. So I realized I really need to program my workouts differently for me to get back to how I was feeling. And I realized that because I know to observe, hey, if I want to incline press 140-pound dumbbells, there are certain things I need to do before getting there. My mind understood the idea of having to do a bunch of auxiliary stuff to get ready for one specific thing. Like, okay, my rear delts need to be really strong so they're not exhausted and roll over on me and then blow my shoulders out while trying to load that area, that specific part of my body heavily. I got to work on my chest. I got to work on my mobility just in case I'm failing and I need to drop it and I don't hurt myself in that process. So many things to prepare for just for an exercise and movement. I understood that, and because I did, and I talked to Jimmy, and I was like, oh, Jimmy's a lot like me, I thought he had that as well because of his previous experiences of opening other bars, but he didn't. And when I saw that pattern, there was dissonance between our pattern understanding, it was literally because of fitness. Because then, once I was able to work out again, and I was programming myself and being consistent and telling myself I can't get too excited and go too heavy, but I also need enough stimulus that it feels uncomfortable for me to get strong properly, I was like, things were starting to click in my mind. I'm like, wait a minute. If I'm able to help myself recover to the point where I'm actually stronger than I was before my injury, why can't this guy who said he's done things before deploy a similar mindset of following a program and setting things up for a successful business? He can't, because he never has. And he's also very sedentary. He's not a moving body. He doesn't exert with his body. So if you've ever thought that working out can't serve you, there is an example of mine where working out helped me catch someone in a lie because of my programming for myself and my recovery and strength. And I was like, wait, you literally just do this thought process this way, and that's how you do it for a business. And to me, I'm like, that's obvious. So I was like, wait, what the fuck is happening here? So throughout this process, I'm obviously not making any money because the bar isn't open and I need a job. So then I work. As like I said earlier, I was Ubering around and going to different places and making friends. I ended up making friends and becoming popular at a closer bar called Raisin Shells. Shout out to them if for some reason anybody from the northern Florida East Coast area that's by Melbourne is there watching this. Go check out Raisin Shells. Tell them Dakota sent you. There are people there that still know me and still follow me on Instagram and connect. So they'll be like, wow, really? So that'd be dope. So yeah, I got pretty popular there. And the cool thing is their shifts there are 10 hours. So you go in at 7, prep the bar, and then the bar opens at 8, and then you leave at 4 or 5. Yeah, it's an 8 to 4. There we go. So, or an 8 to 5 or whatever. I don't care. It was fun to hang out there anyway. But basically what I'm doing here with you guys, just kind of talking to you, I do there. But when you first walk in, you're like, hey, good morning, how are you? What can I get for you? Or, after a certain amount of time, I know what you want. Or if I'm about to drink a shell, I'll just pour a shell out for you and we can have one together, and then we can order after that, and we'll chill and hang out, see what you're doing for the day. So through that process, I was programming myself to get stronger. And a lot of those people actually saw me when I first got there, and they saw me getting bigger. So they're like, dude, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, you guys know I'm not doing anything sketchy because I've just started making money. I don't know anybody here, and I'm also homeless, so there's not really any reason for me to do anything sketchy or be able to do any kind of, gear or anything like that, because I don't even think there's like a fitness scene like that up in Melbourne. I didn't stay long enough to find out. So, in essence, yes, looking the way I do helped me get my name out there, make a lot of friends quicker. But on top of that, I was able to, my prerogative was to get to know the area and understand the energy and get out there. But I want to say the main factor of becoming popular there. Hi, Missy. Oh, she's so cute. It's the neighborhood cat. She's actually been around for. Oh, were you running from that guy? Hold on. Okay, so there's Missy. I think she was running from that guy. Who the heck are you? Oh, are they about to square up? What's happening? I think, yeah, that's a male. Look at his cheeks. Oh, the tail flicks. Hi, Mitzi. Come here, Mom. I'll protect you. Fuck that guy. So, ultimately, being jacked helped being popular, but also having the mental understanding of programming and me telling my story to people there of like, hey, I'm here. I wasn't going to go to a Kava bar and say I'm here to open up a Kava bar, because then the first idea that people have that work there or own it, like, this guy's going to poach people from us. Fuck this guy. And yeah, that's Missy. So, that wasn't what I was going to say. I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm just here to work on business, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. And, hey, Mommy, want to say hi? Yeah, Missy. I'll protect you, Missy, okay. So, one of the big things about it, just being there in general, as I would say, is just being yourself goes a long way with getting popular. And people seeing you develop as well. And also, in that sense of becoming popular, it actually helped me essentially entrap Jimmy and just tie it all out and finish everything. Because ultimately, the business sank because he was the guy with the money and he wasn't using it properly, and I'm just some jack dude who's trying to make it work. And we went far, man. We actually did really good for where we were at. We did great. We did actually amazing. Like, once the business was functioning on all gears, we immediately went into the green. Now, it was like $5, but ultimately there are people that run businesses for a year to 3 years more, and they're still just burning cash. So to me, that was really motivating. I found out a lot. I learned that some things aren't actually that hard, and just persevering and maintaining yourself goes a long way. And thankfully, because I stayed motivated and wanting to go back to weightlifting and kind of getting that mindset back of like understanding, okay, I can't push myself too much. If I can do these exercises, then I'll get prepared to do this one. And just kind of structuring, making sure that my foundation and that I was physically, structurally sound to do stuff, helped me look at the fact I'm like, dude, my bar is not structurally sound. I have a bunch of this stuff, but it's the wrong size for that, which is going to make some of these connections fail, and then we don't have this going on, which is necessary for that. So I'm like, dude, we don't even have like the basic things to make the advanced stuff happen, because I'm working on my own basic things to make my own advanced things happen. I know I'm like beating a dead horse with that one of like talking about like, get into the gym, it's going to teach you how to fucking pattern recognize, and you're going to be you're from Chud to Chad, because the difference between Chad and Chud is you. But seriously, like, it's legit. But yeah, ultimately, I was going to open up a business in Florida. I also had like my redemption arc of getting stronger than how I was after breaking my collarbone. And through that journey of learning, persevering, and still growing, I became very popular. So a lot of the times, you guys just pursuing, dude, literally just being like, I'm gonna read a chapter of a book every night before bed. The advantage that does for you, or like the plasticity also for your mind, and like how that helps you decompress, is gonna make a different person in the morning. And people are gonna be like, man, that guy's different. What's he doing? Literally, the most interesting thing to do in life is live your own. And that's why a lot of people have to talk about somebody else. Anytime I've heard in the past, this person's just talking about myself or other things and whatever, I've noticed that I always say to myself, how boring is their lives that they have to focus on other people's? That's it, bro. People who love drama, their lives are boring as fuck. And they need other people's lives to entertain them. And the best part about life is literally if you just live your own, you're so enthralled in what you're doing, you don't have time for anything else. And you don't care for anything else. You're like, dude, I got a book to read. I got pals to breed. I got bread to make. Damn it, I tried. Whatever, dude. My gimmick is muscles, good advice, being from an introverted nerd to an omnivert who has mastered extrovertedness and wanting to teach that to you guys. Because ultimately, I think, not even I think, I know, bro. I know! If everybody lived the same way I felt, the world would be amazing. And I'm not saying there should be more me's out there. I'm saying there should be more people out there living their life to the fullest. So when it's like stand users in JoJo. It's like the stand user could be anyone. You know, so it's like if more people were stand users and they collected, imagine how much they could bring to a community if they work together. That's just fire, bro. You know what I'm saying? So the best way to wrap this up is say, if you want to become a stand user, understand your life and learn how to level up, hit me up on Instagram. Because yeah, dude, like, you know, I might have a crazy story that I can tell you that where we can relate, or you have one for me and we can do things together. Let's make a community. Let's make the internet Kava bar where all the outsiders come together and we thrive. Later, Missy. Later, broski.